Bring this over here, folks. Oh, I gotta love when a plan comes together. How are you, folks? This is Kurt Van Onen, your host of the Mañana morning check-in. And I told you guys last week that I had got a new computer, bought some new equipment. I tried to make do with an iPad Pro. I'm not an iPad Pro kind of guy. And then I was even tempted to do an Apple Macintosh, kind of product. Macintosh, is that even a name anymore? But I was looking at like, okay, maybe I'll get a MacBook Pro or I'll jump out on this train and I'll try this thing. And the more I thought about it, and the more I priced things, the more I looked at things, the more I thought, I just can't do it, right? So I got a Lenovo Yoga i7. I got it for $699 down at Best Buy, and my last computer was 12 or 1300 bucks, right? And so trying to make that transition of thought, right? Like, can I really go backwards? Well, I'm not going backwards. This thing came with 12 gigs of RAM. It's got half a terabyte of memory. It is compatible with Adobe Creative Cloud, which I'm a huge proponent of, and it enables me to do the work that I do for Mañana, for the Power Sports Academy, and for things like that. So I'm absolutely thrilled. And when I got it, I couldn't get it to work with this giant screen. So you guys don't see this in the workspace, right? But I have, I think it's a 27 or a 32-inch monitor on my desk. It reminds me of Tristan, actually. Tristan, when I worked at Suzuki, had a huge monitor, and I thought, dude, what do you need such a huge monitor for? But at home, in my workspace at home, I thought, man, how cool to have a big enough screen to work on, to edit video, to do things like that. And while I was at Suzuki, I didn't do that kind of work. I delegated that kind of work, right? And so I didn't need those tools, but some of my people did. So Michelle and Tristan and even Bill, before Bill left the company, Ron had a bigger screen. I just didn't need it. It was overkill for what I was doing at the company. I was delegating and project managing, if that made sense. So anyway, full circle, move ahead, right? Keep going. Working here, I got this. Well, this Lenovo didn't connect to the monitor. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, this isn't going to work. It's some kind of USB-C thing, and maybe it's not going to work. Maybe I got to get a new monitor. Maybe I got this. What's a docking station for this thing going to cost? And I jumped on the internet, did a little research, and then jumped on Amazon. And I think it was $14. I got a thing here from Cable Creation that just connects, and it just hooked up. And it's just another thing of, oh man, gotta love when things work. Gotta love when things come together. Folks, it has been a heck of a week. I'm staying busy. I'm staying motivated. I'm getting things happening. As you may have seen, again, if you're on the email list, I sent out a message today about, being late with inspiration. That's a hard thing to get over because I have an email that goes out almost every day called Inspiration, and then whatever the date is, right? So today was Inspiration, February 23rd, 2021. And the idea there is, hey, together, maybe we can inspire each other to move forward. Together in this community, maybe we can inspire each other to move forward. And I'll be honest, me hosting this email, it's ironic, but I was a little behind on inspiration the last couple of days. I've had work to do. I've gotten work done. In fact, I'm contracting for a company, and I owed them some reports. And I got up early yesterday, and I had the best of intentions. Man, I found it so difficult to dive in and do what I had. Now, once I got started on it, I got in, the mojo came back, and I got into it, and I was able to create the product that I need to create. But much like being a creative writer, you need the mojo, you need the juices, you need the energy, you need that thing that makes it happen. And where does that inspiration come from? And sometimes we have to manufacture that. And that's what today's message was about. Today was, how do I manufacture inspiration? And one of the tools that I use is action. Action, whether we're inspired or not, forcing ourselves to take action on something forces creativity, forces us to get into that headspace, get into that mind space, what an Andrew Eggleton might refer to as that heart brain, that heart space, right? Sometimes we got to lead with the head brain to get into the heart brain. And I'm stealing from Andrew there. I didn't make that up. That's an Andrewism, right? But that Andrewism is coming true in what I describe here for people with inspiration. I am trying to be a leader. I'm trying to inspire people. I'm trying to influence people, to use a John Maxwell term. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And I'm trying to influence people to be the best that they can be with the content that I have the ability to provide. And so when I took a look at what I was doing, I said, oh my goodness, I'm not even inspiring myself right now. What am I going to do? And so I looked at my work area and I thought, that's sucking the life out of you, man. You're in a nest full of crap. I'm not a guy that can work well in a nest full of crap. I've got to have a clean space. Ask my wife. I love to cook, but man, if there's dishes piled up on the counter and there's dirty pots and pans, I can't just like push in and then make a meal out of that. You know what I mean? I've got to clean the whole place. I got to empty the dishwasher, fill the dishwasher, wipe down the counters, wipe down the stove, make sure everything's clean, and then prep, assemble, and cook at dinner, right? Not everybody's wired that way, but that's the way I'm wired. And so I looked at my work area and I thought, there's not even a clear place for me to put my feet. I've got so much stuff piled up. I've got a project for this group and a project for this group and a project for this group and notebooks and devotionals and journals. And folks, all of that stuff is positive. All of that is great stuff. Like, to have that many irons in the fire and keep things going, that's fantastic. But to be in a state of chaos through all that positivity is not positive. Does that make sense? So what I had to do was I had to take action. So I got into my workspace, which, in case you haven't figured it out, it's my garage. It's my happy space. And so I moved. The bicycles used to be behind me. If you remember looking at the previous YouTube lives, bicycles used to be behind me and there was a big space between me and the wall. Well, now me and the wall are right here, right? And so me and the wall, right? Everything's right here. I have a clean workspace. All of this has been cleaned up. New computer, monitors attached, everything's working. All my tools are functioning. My printer, my scanner, everything's working. Everything has a space and everything in its space, right? So everything's working. I feel so much better. The bicycles have moved to the other side of my work area. So they're not so much on display anymore. And they're very much on display now, actually. They're right in the middle of my garage. They're all lined up in a giant bike stand that I had built from scratch. So I got those. I got the DR650 out there, the Ducati Monster, the Hayabusa. Everything is kind of in a spot, and I'm continuing to clean. I've got a whole toolbox, and I'm basically going through, getting rid of any duplicates and getting rid of the toolbox, right? Claiming that extra 6 square foot of garage space for more productive use. I've got a workbench over there that's become a table, right? And that table's become full of crud. Well, it's getting cleaned up and stuff's getting thrown away, and I'm making room. This is the same advice I give to a power sports dealer when I visit them. If I can't follow my own advice, well, then what good am I, right? And so I have begun to clean, purge, and take action. And that action has led to inspiration. And that inspiration led to putting out the daily email today. A little late, but it got out. It led to the content I'm making with you now. A little late, but I'm making the content with you. And it leads me to another experience to put in here that I can keep at the forefront when I visit the next dealer to consult with them about improving their parts and labor business. Folks, we live in a very fluid, very dynamic world. There's so much going on. And it's how much do you want to absorb yourself into the fray, into the distractions versus, like I said at the beginning of the pandemic, this was on a conversation I had with Paul Bundy just today. Paul Bundy, fantastic guy, runs a Ducati dealer on the East Coast, right? And so those folks have been really good to me through the Power Sports Academy. They, connected me with Brian Croft with the Fixed Operations podcast. And, when you start taking a look at everything that's kind of happened, right? I was talking to Paul this morning, and I said, Paul, do you remember at the beginning of the year, beginning of the pandemic, I said, and I published articles on in every obstacle is opportunity. We just need to find our spot. We need to find our purpose. We need to find that positional thing that we can do that creates our opportunity. We all have an opportunity within the obstacle. We just need to find it and apply ourselves and optimize it, right? Take advantage of it, right? Exploit that. And he said, and I guess I'm kind of putting words. He said the words, but I'm going to quote him, right? Hopefully he's okay with this. But he said he thought I was nuts. You know, he goes, Ben, I didn't believe you last year when you were talking like that. He said, but we've doubled our business, right? Folks, that's huge, right? I've got dealers from the East Coast to the West Coast, from down south to up north. I've got people in Canada, and all of them have experienced growth through what most people initially thought was going to spell disaster. Now, am I a soothsayer? No, but I've been around long enough, and I've worked both at the dealer level and at the OEM level. And, you know, a lot of people at the OEM level don't have dealer experience, right? And so I've got the advantage of working in both atmospheres and seeing, you know, and then kind of looking at, okay, well, hey, if they're going to close restaurants and museums and movie theaters and take away the distractions that people usually, you know, distract themselves with as a family, if they take all that away, what does that leave, right? Well, it leaves parks, mountain biking, road biking, motorcycling, going out to the desert, camping, RV lifestyle, van life. Take a look at all of those things. And what are all of those things doing? They're growing like crazy. Look at the marine industry, right? Same thing, right? Throw 10 of your friends on a boat and disappear on the ocean, drink some beer and just relax and chill. Because when you get back to shore, it's time to mask up and act like, you know, we're all afraid to see it, touch and feel each other, right? Which I think some people believe. I know that there's people in my neighborhood. I'm friends with families that still live this way, but I know that there's a vast majority of us that wear the mask to appease a neighbor or appease somebody at a store, but don't really have buy-in as to what the benefit of that mask is, right? And so the opportunity to go out and go to the desert and go to the ocean and go to the lake and go camping and go to the park and go mountain biking and to have a sense of normalcy, you know, pre-pandemic normalcy, enjoying an activity and socializing with others is something that we as humans will crave, right? And so I saw that opportunity within the obstacle and I promoted that starting last March. And look what happened. You know, it's fantastic. Now, we're going into a new era where some things are going to come back online. So movie theaters are going to open up, right? Restaurants are now seating at 25 and 50% capacity in different states. And so as these distractions begin to come back online, we have to ask ourselves, we have to be very realistic in the power sports industry. Will we continue to see, you know, a climb in interest for our product? Did we do a good enough job on establishing relationship with new and returning and conquest customers so that we can expand this and move forward as an industry? Or did we treat people like commodities and treat them as if they're going to go back to the movie theater and to the restaurants and forget about us in a year? And it's really based on how we built that relationship as to how we're going to be able to cultivate this growth area that we've all experienced. And so, see, I went from no inspiration to all the inspiration. And now I feel like I've dove in deep on you guys on this live video. So I'm going to give you guys a break. I'm going to give you a respite. If you want to hear more about this, or if you own or run a dealership and you're like, man, I want to know more about what Kurt's got to think about, you know, our industry, our growth, and how to maintain relationship with customers from an after sales perspective, man, hit me up. You can go to thepowersportacademy.com. You can go to mañananomas.com. Mañana No Mas is like my hub for everything. So you can go to mañananomas.com, hit the contact link, send me a message, do whatever you need to do. But man, I still see a vast like wasteland of opportunity. And I just want to stress with folks, don't focus on obstacles. Look for the opportunity, find the opportunity, and use inspiration. Even if you have to, you know, even if you have to manufacture an action to make a facsimile of inspiration to get you inspired, do that, right? Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. That's like a nice way of saying it, right? But sometimes you just need to take the action and watch the action grow and begin to form an inspiration that will drive you and give you the energy to finish strong. Folks, say it all the time. I'm going to say it again. I love you. I hope that you're doing well. And I will talk to you very, very soon. If you're not on the email list, jump on it. Go to mañananomas.com, hit the link for Academy, join the newsletter list, which is right on the homepage, and you'll get a near daily message from me that gives you some type of inspiration or value-added content. And then I've got this. This is on the YouTube Live, comes out every day. And I also put a video diary in the Mañana No Mas, mañananomas.com blog area. If you go to mañananomas.com, you look on the right side of the column, you'll see a picture of my mug with a Mañana No Mas shirt on.